What's a good word, everyone? It's your boy DKB here. I just want to say thanks for all the support. The channel's been steadily growing, and the number you see below, you can drop a text, shoot a voicemail, any ideas, topics, collabs, etc. you guys want to see. I'll include them in future videos and live streams, and I'll catch you again. Be easy. What's a good word, Jets fans? It's your boy DKB here, and one of our kicking competitions has officially been wrapped up. We had a roster move that was made where we claimed off waivers DB Ryan Cooper, former undrafted free agent, spent some time with the Ravens, had a pretty decent career where he was able to pick off, I believe it was 4 interceptions, a number of pass deflections, and racking up some tackles there. So undrafted for a reason, but seems like he has some tools that we can try to mold and utilize on our end. But the big news here is that we ended up releasing Kai Kroger to do so. Kai Kroger was one of 2 punters with Austin McNamara, which was going to be one of 4 players that have never kicked or punted in the NFL that was having a competition for the New York Jets. So I would assume this means we win. Maybe we go back and look to add somebody depending on how these preseason games go. But generally, when I looked around the league and at some other punting competitions, if a player ended up being the only punter by the time they were going into week 1 of the preseason game, it pretty much seemed like players were rarely added to reignite the competition. So Austin McNamara being the winner here, and admittedly I don't know a ton about kicking or punting and what goes into developing someone like that, or having some kind of X factor, it factor trait or anything, but the general consensus is it comes down to a number of things, and the priority of importance changes maybe depending on the coaching staff and how they feel about their talent on offense and defense. But hang time, and the last time that we seen Austin McNamara, he averaged over his career average going back to college was 4.2 seconds of hang time, which seems like a pretty significant number. I don't know how that correlates to what happens in the NFL world, but that's a pretty significant amount of time for someone to fly down the field, like an Irv Charles, like a Chris Boyd, someone of that nature, to go down there and try to make a tackle or force a fair catch. Then you go into things like distance. Of course, you'd love to see a guy that's kicking, probably in the 50-plus range. And I think for his career, he's been hovering somewhere between like 43 and 44 yards. Accuracy, and there's a number of different ways to look at this, right? One, can you target the area of the field that you're looking to, right? There's going to be certain games where you don't want to test the returner, and so you're going to look to just kick it as far as you can and get it out of bounds. Can you get that done? The second piece is going to be, can you target a certain range, right? Sometimes it is going to be more focused on just trying to kick it, maybe 20, 30 yards if you're talking about flipping field position. If you got down at the 50 and you want to pin somebody within the 20, right? And then that also goes into touchbacks. You want to try to minimize that as much as possible and get between 0 to 20 yards and really put someone in an unfavorable position, especially if you're up in games and you know that you can have a defense that pins their ears back, etc. And then one that maybe goes a little bit unspoken here would be the open field tackling, right? And I kind of look at punter almost like a special teams version of a free safety, where many times they're the last line of defense. They're looking to make sure that there's no final open gaping holes and they're flowing to that direction. And if things do spring or break free, they're looking to be the last guy that can make a stop. And so obviously we had Braden Mann before, who was a guy that I really, really liked in terms of how he would go out there and lay some people out. But we'll see. Austin McNamara being a winner here, you would have to assume that based on what Aaron Glenn and Chris Banjo's previous comments were, that their main goal is looking for consistency. He was able to accomplish and offer that. And so we'll see if there's any other correlating moves here in the next couple of days. But if not, we have one kicking competition down and resolved as mentioned. So let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you guys again. Peace.